Our names may be forgotten, and our bones crumble to dust, but our deaths will echo through the millennia to come. Horus Lupercal's betrayal of the Imperium would change the course of history forever. Countless lives would be lost, planets destroyed, and heroes murdered. For who could stand in the path of the plans of a tyrant demigod? Whom would be courageous enough to face the darkness alone, forsaking kin and the bonds of battle-forged brotherhood for the greater good of all existence? Whom would be the first to stand defiant against the fiercest foe humanity has ever faced? The answer comes not from a Primarch, nor a Sigillite, nor even the Emperor of mankind himself. Instead, it would be the heroic actions of a line officer, 10th Company Captain of the Emperor's Children, Saul Tarvitz. Tarvitz was unlike his brethren in many ways. Although, like all Astartes of the 3rd Legion, he sought perfection, Tarvitz would strive for purity of purpose above glory and self-aggrandizement, rejecting the notion of superiority over men, instead encapsulating the example of duty to the Emperor, beloved by all, and tragically, the glorification of his Primarch, Fulgrim. Saul was seen by his commanding officers such as Lord Commander Eidolon as a dull man with no ambition, yet his men of the 10th Company would deeply respect his leadership, a trait which his greatest comrade within the Legion, Lucius, captain of the 13th Company, would increasingly despise, his jealousy towards Tarvitz gaining momentum during the battle with the Megarachnids on the planet colloquially known as Murder. During the 203rd year of the Great Crusade, the Emperor's Children would investigate a distress beacon left by the 9th Legiones Astartes, the Blood Angels. Unable to decipher the warning beacons surrounding the planet left by the human Interrex species, the Astartes led by Captain Kaitus From had made planetfall on a planet infested with large arachnoid creatures, capable of piercing ceramite armor with their sharp claws and able to withstand even bolter rounds with their thick hides. Fierce storms blanketed the planet's surface, scattering the Blood Angels, their crafts unable to facilitate extraction or reinforcement. The Emperor's Children forces led by Eidolon would search the environment, suffering heavy casualties due to the scattering of their own forces, mirroring the actions of their cousin legions past era. The landing party led by Saul Tarvitz would discover the sons of Sanguinius's bodies impaled on tree-like structures formed by the Megarachnids. These trees were the source of the storms causing disarray for the Astartes landing craft. Tarvitz, Lucius and the men of their respective companies would destroy the structures, allowing for the skies to clear and after many bloody skirmishes facilitate the reinforcement forces of the Lunar Wolves. Here Tarvitz would form a bond of friendship with Lunar Wolves' 2nd Company Captain Tarik Torgadan, much to Lucius's displeasure. With the combined forces of Emperor's Children, Lunar Wolves, Legio Mortis Titans, Imperial Army forces, and even Sanguinius and a detachment of his Blood Angels, the planet known as Murder would be cleansed of the filthy Megarachnid species. This led Saul to strengthen his bond of brotherhood with several members of the 16th Legion, seeing his values and disposition more closely aligned with these Lunar Wolves, in contrast to his own kin. The Emperor's Children would later campaign to regain the compliance of the Istvan system, now in open rebellion to the Imperium of Man. Warmaster Horus Lupercal would dispatch 4 legions, his now renamed Sons of Horus, Mortarian's Death Guard, Angron's World Eaters, and Fulgrim's Emperor's Children, joining forces to quell the rebellion being spearheaded on the planet of Istvan III. The initial wave of rebels led by the demonic war singers of Chaos would face the wrath of the Death Guard and Emperor's Children in cooperative slaughter. In the ensuing battle, Eidolon's forces would cut a path to the Warsinger, currently engaged in battle with the Death Guard's 7th Company and its battle captain, Nathaniel Garrow. Garrow would be injured during the fray, with Lord Commander Eidolon and Saul Tarvitz driving the demonic creature back, saving Garrow's life. Tarvitz alone would witness Eidolon destroy the Warsinger using an unholy scream of sonic energy. Shocked at his commander's new ability, Tarvitz would eventually discover it to be an augmentation implanted by the Emperor's Children Chief Apothecary, Fabius Bile, during his heretical experiments on the Legion's men. With the battle over, Tarvitz would assess the damage received to his honor brother Nathaniel Garrow. Relieved that the injury would not be fatal, the two would engrave their vambraces with the Imperial Aquila, a sign of battle debt forged by brotherhood. With Tarvitz's suspicions raised by the actions of his Lord Commander and Chief Apothecary, Saul would make the decision to stay on board Eidolon's flagship, the Andronius, to serve as its senior staff officer. Tarvitz knew that the spear tip for the next wave of battle was imminent, but found it strange that the glory-hungry Eidolon would not be present in the vanguard. Coupled with what he had seen during the battle against the Warsinger, Tarvitz would request his legion's venerable dreadnought Ancient Rylanor to exchange places. Rylanor would honour his brother's request and ventured in Tarvitz's place to the battle taking place on the surface of Istvan III. On the Andronius, Tarvitz would discover the source of his unease: life-eater virus bombs readying to be deployed onto the planet's surface. The result clearly intended to consume and destroy every dutiful Astartes currently fighting on Istvan III. With all due haste, Tarvitz seized the Thunderhawk gunship from the ship's hangar and attempted to flee the Andronius, with all speed charging towards Istvan III's surface before the bombs would fall. Eidolon would be informed of Tarvitz's interference, dispatching Raven interceptors to destroy the stolen Thunderhawk. En route to the planet's surface, Tarvitz would send a distress signal to a nearby ship stationed above, the Eisenstein. The ship currently harbouring the injured battle captain of the 14th Legion, Nathaniel Garrow. Requesting aid from his honour brother, Tarvitz would inform the Eisenstein's crew that all loyal servants of the Emperor were being betrayed. Honouring their bond of loyalty and friendship, Garrow would decide on his next actions. He would mask his honour brother's escape and with the guns of the Eisenstein destroy the lead Raven interceptor. For soon Garrow would now also be embroiled in the deceptions of his own legion. His duty to preserve the Imperium, now of paramount import. Tarvitz would successfully land on the planet's surface, joining the forces of Captain Erland's World Eater forces. Warning them of the impending virus bombing, Tarvitz would lead a contingent of the Sons of Angron to safety, though most of the 12th Legion would never reach the safety of the shelters in time. With the planetary bombardment over, the traitor Primarchs would become enraged with the discovery of the survival of the betrayed loyalist Astartes. Their plans to destroy all dissenters in one single move ruined. Angron, Primarch of the World Eaters, travelled to the planet's surface, laying waste to his own sons who dared resist his will. Captain Erland would sacrifice himself to allow Tarvitz to escape.
"This isn't your fight," Erland yelled over the gunfire. "Get out of here."
"Emperor's children never run," replied Tarvitz, drawing his sword.
"They do from this."
It had been said that a space marine knew no fear. Such a statement was not literally true. A space marine could know fear, but he had the training and discipline to deal with it and not let it affect him in battle. Captain Saul Tarvitz was no exception. He had faced storms of gunfire and monstrous aliens, and even glimpsed the insane predators of the war. But when Angron charged, he ran. Captain Saul Tarvitz's fate would never be confirmed. However, it is presumed that no legionary could survive the slaughter that ensued in the following months. Tarvitz would lead the doomed loyalist Astartes of all the assembled legions alongside his brothers of the Lunar Wolves Legion, Garviel Loken and Tarik Torgadon. Their guerrilla warfare would stall the traitor legions for a time, until Saul's brother-in-arms, Lucius, would betray him, siding with Eidolon and breaking the formation of the loyalists from within. But for all this, Saul Tarvitz and the brave men of the resistance of Istvan III would buy the Imperium precious time to prepare. His honor brother Garrow now relaying his warning to the Sigillite. This has been a tale of the great Imperium of Man, read by the Remembrancer. The warp has abated, for a time. By the grace of the Emperor, beloved by all, stories of the Imperium's heroes shall continue to be told, resuming with more tales of the Horus Heresy.